What a year 2025 was. It was the year that I watched The Last of Us and the whole world fell in love with Pedro Pascal. It was the year that we all had our breath taken away by a baby pink playsuit.
Please stay. I want you, I need you, oh God. Don't take these beautiful things that I've got.
The year that Sir Davos and Greta Thunberg teamed up, inspired us all and took to the open seas as part of the Freedom Flotilla to Gaza. It was the year that the first messy breakup of Pride was Trump and Elon Musk. The year that Cynthia Erivo levelled up and up and up and up and keeps going. It was the year that Ray earwormed her way into my life with this song, which now lives rent-free in my brain forever, I fear. It was the year that this woman fully transitioned to Disney villain, and the year that this man brought some glimmers of hope to UK politics. And lastly, it was the year that Celia Imrie solidified her place as national treasure.
Day experience in history. What just happened? I just felt it, Claudia.
My reading year this year has had some higher highs and lower lows than I think I have ever experienced. The less said about the wedding people, the better. But also thinking about that in terms of my reading life, I think that was probably a little bit reflected in my personal life too. I read 133 books in 2025 and I am more than happy with that number. That's plenty. It's a little bit less than last year, but in 2018 I read 8 books and in 2021 I read 39 books. It's all good stuff, so I'm not looking to increase that number at all next year. Of those 133, 19 were by Welsh authors and I am absolutely chuffed to bits with that. That's 14% of my reading last year was by Welsh authors. Of the 25 new releases I was interested in at the start of last year, I've read 9 and have 1 more on my physical TBR. And I think for the most part I enjoyed all of the books that I read. Last year, oddly, I learned that I'm drawn to books with women swimming or in water on the covers. Charlie from Charlie Brooke Reads pointed that out to me. I'm like, yeah, you're not wrong. And I also went through a phase of reading a lot of books featuring women living on their own somewhere really remote, so in a cottage in the middle of nowhere. If you have any more recommendations like that, I'd love to know them, because I really loved all of the books that I read that featured that. I noticed a bit more of a cycle of my reading over the year last year. So the first half of the year was a bit more new release focused, a bit more prize focused. A lot of the readathons that I take part in are kind of weighted towards the start of the year. So by kind of like Easter and edging into kind of like June time, I was really feeling quite like I hadn't been choosing my own reading by that point, but that eased up in the latter part of the year. I finished some but not all of the reading challenges that I took part in last year. I did the Ben Reads Good prompts, I did Kayla's buzzword and the cover prompts. I've only got 1 book left to finish those. I completed the Books for Bowel Cancer readathon, which Charlie ran, and also the Misery May readathon, which is run by Gemma Books and Scott at Gunpowder Fiction and Plot. I also took part in Derrython and Shorty September, but only read a few books for those. In 2025 I did 3 monthly challenges and also went to 2 in-person book clubs. So that was 5 books a month that I wasn't entirely choosing for myself. That's definitely something that I want to shift into 2026. I really want to lean more into mood reading and choosing more of my own books as I feel that I fancy reading them. I said last year I was going to do less reading challenges, and then I think I did maybe 1 less. But I'm saying the same again this year, and this year I sort of mostly mean it. The reading challenges with quite specific prompts have been really good for me. So I've only really been an avid reader for the last 4 to 5 years. So when I first kind of started reading loads more, they were so helpful because I had no idea what my reading tastes were. So like trying all sorts of different things was really, really good for me. I'm now at a point of being quite curious about how well I know my reading tastes, having had the opportunity to read lots of recommendations and read from lots of prompt challenges. I now kind of feel like I've got a bit of a better idea of what my reading tastes are, and I really want to put that to the test in 2026. The other reason for me to do a bit less prescribed reading this year is because I really want to do something about the number of books on my physical TBR. I have 184 books on my physical TBR, give or take. The reason I say give or take is because I've got some random shelves of books that I haven't counted on my TBR, like some classics and things that you kind of have to be in the mood for to pick up. So yeah, give or take, there's about 184 books on my shelves that I haven't read that I would like to, and I really want that to be a focus for this year. For those of you that watched the Booktuber meetup vlog in the autumn last year, I had a wee existential crisis at the end of that, and it really prompted me to kind of overhaul my wish list and take off things I don't think I'm interested in anymore. And I also went through my physical TBR and moved some books to a not right now pile. I think over time I've accumulated lots of books where I've just taken recommendations for people, not knowing whether they'd be for me or not, and then time has passed and I've got a bit more of an idea of whether they might be or not, and some of them I'm a bit less excited about than when I first picked them up. So having said I'm doing no reading challenges next year, I have put a stack together for the TBR spin. I know, why am I like this? But I feel like that's quite a good one because it's entirely from your own shelves, and also I feel like it's something that I could quite easily dip in and out of. It's not a list that's prescribed that I'm going to feel like I failed at if I don't complete it. I feel like I could comfortably dip in and out of that one as and when the mood takes me. But most excitingly, Jen of Jen the Librarian and I are running the TBR Reading Spa this year, and this is for us to celebrate our home libraries, and in a very low stakes, low key, no pressure way, we are encouraging ourselves and you to read from the books that you own. If you want to know more about that, I'll make sure that I link the announcement videos in the description below. Looking back over some of last year's intentions, in addition to doing less reading challenges, some other things have come back to haunt me. One of which was that I was going to stay on top of book reviews. So I review all of the books that I read over on Instagram. That was an epic fail in 2025. I did so much worse at that last year than ever. I think at one point, so I keep a notes page on my phone where I record all of the books that I am reading and like my notes about them that I kind of then turn into my reviews. At one point I think there were like 40 odd books on there that I hadn't posted. So yeah, that's not great. So failed at that, but we go again next year. I think so I'm all for, like, this is a hobby, right? I don't want there to be rules or like hard and fast goals or any of that kind of stuff, but I do wonder whether for book reviews specifically I might need a bit of a like standard operating procedure. I need a SOP for my book reviews, because what happens when I put no pressure on myself about it is I just don't do them, and then I feel very stressed and very behind, and then in December I'm like, oh my god, how can I how can I irritate people more? I know I'll just post more and more reviews because I really want to get them out before the end of the year, so I don't want to be in that place again next December. So maybe I do need a bit of structure around my reviews. So if you've got any thoughts about how you manage that, I'd love to hear them. But that's something I hope to kind of work on a bit this year. Another of my intentions last year was to dive more into Welsh literature and to follow the Wales Book of the Year prize, and I did that and loved it. As I said, 14% of my reading last year was by Welsh authors, and if you see my best books of the year video, you will know that several of those Welsh authors made it onto my top 10 books, and my favourite book of the year was by a Welsh author too. That's something that I definitely want to carry on into 2026. In terms of YouTube, I have been very inconsistent at posting this year for one reason and another, but the thing that's taught me is that it's fine. The world hasn't fallen apart, I haven't lost all of you as subscribers, and it's felt much kinder to myself not to force a video when I haven't had the time or the capacity to make one. One of the things that I've realised is that I much prefer making reading vlogs to sit down videos, and the reality of that is that they just take longer to put together. I'm thinking I might experiment a little bit in 2026 and try some shorter reading vlogs like for the TBR reading spa, but yeah, we'll see how we go. The videos that I'm particularly proud of from 2025 are the first vlog that I put out in the year. It was reading dogs in books. It was not an easy vlog to make because Brennan broke his leg during that, and it was a really tough time, but I'm really pleased with how the video came out. And the other one that I was really proud of was that I did a kind of like shelf-help reading vlog where I read a kind of like self-help book and kind of tried to put some of those things into practice. I read How to Winter in October, and again, I was really happy with how that video came out. I have a few little piles of books set aside for reading vlogs this year, so watch this space to see what comes next. I think the thing that I most want to take forward into 2026 is a real sense of playful curiosity. I want to try some new reading habits, I want to test my taste with some mood reading, and I want to trial some different content here to see what I enjoy and what works. I used to set myself a word for the year, but haven't done that for a couple of years, but I'm really grateful to what Victoria read for doing this in her intentions video, prompted me to do the same, and I think it's only right that my word for 2026 is curiosity. One thing that I would really like to do more of in 2026 is buddy reads. I've done a few buddy reads, but I'd really like to do more. So if you're a seasoned buddy reader and wouldn't mind taking me under your wing and teaching me your ways, or if you, like me, are curious about buddy reading and want to figure out what works best along with me, then please let me know. If you'd like to see what I own already before suggesting that, you can have a look at my TBR on Storygraph and Goodreads, which are both linked below in the description. I cannot tell you how grateful I am that you are here and so generous with your time. Your time is precious, and I really am wholeheartedly grateful that you choose to spend some of it with me. I hope you are having a gentle start to the year, and I wish you all the very best and excellent reading for 2026. I hope you're looking after yourself, and I will see you again in another video.